Good morning. My name's Chris Brown. I'm an analyst with Morgans Financial. I'm here at the Noosa Mining Conference with Owen Hegarty, the Executive Chairman of EMR Capital. Owen's been here before. This isn't his first Noosa conference. Just going to ask Owen about how he sees the conference and maybe the market, and both in Australia and offshore. Owen.
Yeah, good on you, Chris. Well, thank you for that. And thank you to Morgans for the invitation. Again, I mean, I was here last year. It's a wonderful conference, by the way. Very well organised, very well planned, very well executed. Terrific number of people here. And there's a serious buzz of excitement around the place. That's always a good thing. You've got full auditoria. You've got a full dance card here at all of the exhibitions and so on. It's looming lunchtime. It's always full around about lunchtime. But wherever you go, there's people and a really good buzz. So look, I think it's terrific. And as we said yesterday, Chris, when we were talking about this, last year the mood was sort of get ready in a way. This year the mood tends to be get set. And I see the investors are really putting the explorers and the miners through their hoops here. That's always a good thing, looking to get set, so to speak. So I think that people are thinking that not only do you have some absolutely sensational explorers and miners and booths here, but I think people are thinking that this long period that we've had of pretty lousy prices and so on getting beaten up is about to come to an end. So we might be coming out of it. I think that's the mood that we get here. It's certainly the mood, Chris, where I travel a lot in Asia. There's a mood there, whether it's Singapore, Hong Kong, or the bourses in China on the resources side. They've had a little bit of a bubble and burst there, but certainly on the resources side, they're looking to get set there. And we've also, you mentioned EMR Capital. We've actually raised a lot of capital from America, from North America, and they are looking to get into resources. I mean, they're pretty long oil and gas over there, as you know, but they're looking to get more into mining, exploration, minerals, and so on. So the mood is good there too.
Are there any particular themes that you see coming out of this conference, I guess for domestic Australian investors who are largely represented here, both institutions and retail, but any themes or commodities that you see here?
Look, I think a couple of themes. One is there's absolutely no doubt the quality of the work that is done by the Australian explorers and miners is sensational. It is absolutely world-class, first-class, and you've seen that in your work with Morgans as senior analyst there. Terrific work, and they've persisted. That's the good thing about the Aussie professional and technical people. They persist with the assets. They're driven entirely by getting the work done, and it's absolutely quality work. So we can all attest to the quality of the work. No problem with that. In terms of commodities, my experience more to do with base and precious metals, I suppose the bulks and so on. So all the way across the board there. I like copper. Always like copper, as you know. Love gold. I mean, it is the perfect metal. Long, strong supply, long, strong demand, commodity, currency, and so on and so forth. So we like copper, we like gold. In the bulk materials, we always like iron ore, but it's difficult to get into iron ore. You've really got to be a big player in the iron ore business. I mean, Andrew Forrest got into it for FMG, but he's a magician. There won't be too many more of him coming around, type of thing. But we also like, high quality coking coal, and there's plenty of that here in Queensland. And we like potash on the fertiliser agricultural side.
I should say that Owen's deputy chairman of FMG Group as well, so he knows a little bit about the iron ore industry. One of the things we haven't perhaps spoken about, we've got projects and we've got people who can develop them, but the other component is money. You need investors and you need money. You've relatively recently, I guess 2011, moved into the PE space from a background in operations, obviously the founding managing director of the Mighty Ox, if I can call it that. But you're in the PE space now as well as being in companies. Could you talk a little bit about the availability of funds?
Yes, okay, thanks, Chris, well, look, I think in terms of the availability of funds from the retail side, I mean, the Aussie retail investors, whether they're here in Queensland, WA, Victoria, New South Wales, have always been very supportive of resources. So, I mean, little bit of a downturn at the moment, I suppose, but they haven't run out of money completely yet. They have been very supportive, and they will continue to be. So I think that retail market, it gets a little bit more discerning from time to time, but you know what it's like. If you've got good people, you've got good projects, and you're persistent, you'll always get the money for them. So good retail support. Institutions, and as you know, institutions here in Australia will support you. You know, again, you've got to be persistent, you've got to have quality, and so on. They will support you. They understand resources. Very important for the promoters and the project developers to get offshore, and you know, the traditional parts of Europe and North America, all okay. You've got to cover that, no question about that. But I would encourage them to get up to Asia, get it to Hong Kong, get to Singapore, get to Jakarta, get to Shanghai, Shenzhen and Beijing. And it's not a question of a one-hit wonder and one-stop shop up there. You've got to keep going back. Keep telling your story over and over, because they're just that less familiar, you know, with the commodities and early stage space. So look, that market is there, it's available. There's a surplus being created in China every day. It's got to be invested in something. And in the PE space, as you mentioned, Chris, you know, we're there with a $500 million fund that then we can you know, we can gear that up very substantially as well. Always looking for good opportunities. PE is not so much making a comeback, it's starting to look into that, you know, starting to look into that mining and exploration space, and coming downsize a bit to the early stage. So yes, PE is going to be more available for sure, and we're in it.
Good. Thanks, Owen. Thanks for your view on the conference and your outlook for the future. Thank you.
Good on you, Chris. Thank you.